Sviatoslav, how are things holding up in Ukraine? I was there a couple of days ago and people were optimistic, but I think the optimism has kind of increased in recent days.
We are defiant. I mean, I'm in Kyiv right now, and we have rocket attacks day in, day out, night in, night out. We have people that are being lost every single day, not just in Kyiv, but all across the country. Russians aren't exactly keeping their weapons down. They are shooting, they're attacking, they're trying to take us down, but the reality is it only drives our desire for justice here in those battles that we are waging right now outside of Kyiv.
Yes, but it's interesting to me that the Russian advance has stalled and that, for example, the Ukrainian military's pushback, particularly on the south coast, I mean, the Russians are nowhere near taking Odessa, which is one of their objectives. And in fact, they're being effectively pushed back, both in central Ukraine and on the Black Sea coast. So you must be heartened by that.
The reality is Putin's main mistake was believing his own propaganda. He believed that he'll be welcomed in Ukraine, that people will come out with flowers to greet him, but the reality is the opposite. We are united as ever, both in political terms, as the parliament votes unanimously for every single legislation supporting the war, and as a nation. People coming out on the streets in occupied cities with their bare hands in Ukrainian flags to show that they want Ukraine to stay, that they want us to win, and joining in every other part of Ukraine, military, in all the different shapes and forms to defy Russia and beat them back. We have no choice. It's our country, nowhere to leave, nowhere to go, and we will fight for it to the end.
How do you feel as a parliamentarian? Because you have rather fewer colleagues than you did a couple of days ago. President Zelensky has banned certain pro-Russian parties, as he calls them, that one of which has, I think, 10% of the seats in the Ukrainian parliament. How do you feel about his decision to restrict the number of political parties in Ukraine? And while we're at it, his plan to merge all the television networks into one state television network. How do you feel about that?
Well, first about the Prussian parties. I mean, the party you speak of is a party which headed by the person who has Putin as the godson to his child, and he has been bringing his party members to Russia at every single occasion that he got. His party was time and time again not voting for legislation on the matter of territorial integrity and independence of Ukraine. So it's as pro-Russian as it comes. As far as all the other parties, they are non-active as far as Ukraine. In reality, they are remnants of the past, basically. The show of force that we have a wartime situation in which we have basically to prepare and get our nation ready to beat back the enemy and all the tools that he's using to try and cow us into submission. As far as the TV channels, it's not that. We have all the TV channels are right now in Ukraine united in one single marathon, which is going on permanently, and they just change places, who is speaking when, and try to transmit enough message to support the country, to transmit relevant information to the people where they can get help, support, humanitarian assistance, where they can sign up to join the fight. So it's a question of all the nation uniting as ever to, again, beat back the second biggest army in the world and the biggest nation on earth.
What's the mood like among your fellow Ukrainians? As I said, I got back from Ukraine just at the weekend. But I didn't get far into central or eastern Ukraine. What is the disposition of the people? Because everyone's surprised that after what happened in Mariupol, that people haven't. We can't take this anymore. We need to sue for surrender terms. And yet nobody in Ukraine actually seems to be thinking like that. The more he bombs you, the more you defy him and want to push on. Is that how it is with most of the people?
Absolutely. I mean, Kyiv right now is turning into a fortress city. It's our capital. city of millions, which is now fast becoming a city well prepared for whatever Russians throw at us. And discussion about it, colon Russians amassing north of Kyiv is irrelevant because Kyiv essentially beefed up its defenses to defy every single thing the Russians throw at us. And the point is the instruments of resistance are plentiful. Citizens have been joining territorial defense units, army units, signing up to try and join the fight. They are receiving the weaponry they can. And again, the fight is happening right now in the outskirts town out of Kyiv. And the Russians are trying to cut a supply list to the west. And local people there are doing everything possible to destroy Russian weapons, Russian arms, Russian soldiers coming in, and are showing clearly that Kyiv is not going to be occupied or cut off.